Jay Hibbs, Stretford, Paddock. That's Joe Smith, and this is Paddock Live. Yes, it's live, so get involved in the chat in the comments. We're going to be talking about all the latest Manchester United news, including huge summer plans. Yeah, we've got big plans, us, Joseph, and we've got that sweet, sweet profit, to spend after the latest financial reports, We're in the black.
Yeah.
Or the red, what's the good one?
Can't remember now.
Yeah, whatever the red or the black.
Black's the good one, isn't
Black's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're not in the red, we're in the black, Well, we are in the red. We're about £1 billion in the red, but let's not get into technicalities, Let's just focus on the positives. Make sure you are hitting that like, share, and subscribe button. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm excited about this because it feels as though for so long we were just hearing Anderson, Wharton, Belabor, Anderson, Wharton, Belabor, and we're finally starting to hear some new names on this sort of transfer list or this sort of wish list or whatever you want to call it, short list that United seem to have for the summer. We're getting some new midfield target names in there, and that's exciting to me because you would hope that we haven't just got, we want to buy 2 midfielders. There's more than 3 options for those 2 players, and it seems as though we're finally starting to see exactly, who's taking the shape of the transfer list. So I'm very, very excited.
It's exciting times at Manchester United Football Club. It really is. Do you know what I mean? Can't wait to see what is on the horizon. Should we get into it then?
Yeah, let's get into it. What's our first story then? What we got? Make Morgan a free man. Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, I get it. Very good. Very good. I like that. Yeah, we've got producer Cam there.
First time.
Have you lot got a mic?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, right, well done. We're happy with that one.
Yeah, it's good work. Good solid start. Yeah, I'm proud of you.
Pretty straightforward, but we don't mind it, do we? Nice and easy. Shock interest in Morgan Gibbs-White reveal. This is according to Chris Wheeler over at the Daily Mail.
Our mate.
Our mate indeed. Man United have joined the Premier League clubs monitoring Morgan Gibbs-White's situation at Nottingham Forest. United, who also have a strong interest in Gibbs-White's teammate Elliot Anderson, are among a number of rivals looking to benefit if Forest are relegated this season. However, Confidential, which is their sort of one of their, how would you describe it?
They're little, I don't know actually. They're regular. No, it's not. It's like I don't know. What would you describe the confidence? It's what they do every week, innit?
Yeah, but it's kind of behind a paywall. It's their extra juicy sort of tidbits.
Yeah, isn't it?
It's their spotlight division.
Right.
Of the,
okay.
What's the newspaper called that exposed all the?
Washington Post.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's their spotlight. Confidential understands United's new pay scale may hinder their efforts to persuade either player to persuade either player to turn down bigger offers from other clubs and move to Old Trafford in the summer. United have been trying to drive down their wage bill, but it could leave them at a severe disadvantage in the chase for Gibbs-White and Anderson, even more so with Man City and Chelsea, understood to be tracking Anderson in particular. So obviously it mentions Elliot Anderson there, who we know United are interested in, but it also brings in Morgan Gibbs-White. A new name has entered the fray at Manchester United in terms of transfers. What do you make of him and of those links?
The worry I've got with Anderson is the City link.
Yeah.
I can see City going all out for him. Because I think Rodri doesn't look the same.
No,
I think I know they're different players, but the fact that Rodri isn't quite at the same level as he was pre-injury, and City can be pretty brutal, makes me think they're going to go out and get a midfielder, and the best midfielder available is Elliot Anderson, and they'll probably be able to offer him a wage that we don't want him. Because now we've got Ineos, we're not doing the 350 grand a week or whatever wages, where City might go, we'll do that, we'll give you that. And I think City might go big in the summer, because at some point, these charges are going to drop, and there may be a transfer ban or punishment attached to these charges. So I think City are just going out and spending money like a cracked up Kardashian right now for that reason. We've seen it in the last couple of windows, and I think we'll see it in the summer. So I think they'll go all out for Anderson. Even though I hate City with a passion, I don't blame them for going for him, and if they can get him, they will. So if we can get Morgan Gibbs-White, he's a completely different player, but he's a player that I think is a decent one, and I think we need reinforcements in the summer because we are going to be in Europe, hopefully the Champions League. We need reinforcements anyway because we're going to be losing players. We haven't got the squad to really compete at the very, very top. We're sort of getting it away with it in a minute over the last sort of month or so because it's one game a week-ish, and we're all right like that. But once the injuries start kicking in, once we lose certain players, which we know are going to leave in the summer, you're going to need more players. So someone like Morgan Gibbs-White, I'm not against. Obviously, if you gave me a choice, if we could get one of Anderson or Gibbs-White, you get Anderson. But I don't know if we can. And if we can, getting at least one player from Forest, he's probably the only other one I'd have, to be honest with you. I think they've got other good players. Who's the other lad we were linked with? Go on, you have a talk about it.
Yeah, I think Gibbs-White is a decent player. I think he is a little bit underrated, actually. I don't think he's a top player, and he's not going to be someone that's going to take over from Bruno Fernandes and do the exact same job by any means. Go on.
Sangare.
Oh yeah, he's another name that.
Yeah, Ibrahim Sangare. We've been linked with him recently.
Was he not at PSV before he went to Forest, and we were linked with him then?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's gone to Forest. He's done quite well.
Yeah.
And he's another one we've been linked with. So there's people are circling around Nottingham Forest, going, if these go down. Yeah. Gibbs-White, Sangare, Anderson, obviously. Yeah. They're the main ones that everyone's looking at.
There's a load of players that they had that people wanted to buy last season, but Marinakis kind of put a load of them, on the sort of
put a load of them in a room with some gangsters, and told them that they love the club and that they didn't want to leave anyway.
Yeah, and he signed a new deal, I believe. But obviously, if you're in the Championship, you can't have a Premier League wage bill. No. You just can't. So I think Gibbs-White goes under the radar a little bit. I think this season's been a bit slower, but I think he's still got a few goals this season in the league. But the last 2 seasons, playing for an unfancied team like Forest, he's got double digits assists in the Premier League. Right. I think it is 10 both times, so just scraping the threshold there for double digits. But that is good, and that is difficult. 10 assists in the Premier League is not an easy thing to do, especially when you're playing for a team like Nottingham Forest who, don't score tons of goals. Even last season, they weren't one of the big scorers in the league. They kind of counter-attacked and they played well like that, but they're not a team that goes out and bangs 3 or 4 in a week. I think he's a good player. If you can get him for a decent fee, it'd have to be around 50 million or less. I think any talk of 60, 70 is just ridiculous. I think he's a 45, 50, maybe 55 million player at a push. What is he, 26 years old now?
Yeah, he is.
So yeah, I think the fee would have to be right. But he's the sort of player that, like we said, who knows the future of Mason Mount at Manchester United? Bruno Fernandes is 31, whether we like it or not, and maybe he can play for another 3 or 4 years. Great. If not, and even if he can, he's probably not going to be able to play 50 games every 90 minutes every single week next season. And someone like Morgan Gibbs-White, you can do a lot worse as a number 10 or a rotation piece than him. That's
a great point. I like the idea of you, because if you're going to get someone to come in who's probably going to be an understudy and a backup to Bruno, who even with us in Europe won't miss that many games, you're not going to go out and get a £100 million number 10 who's going to sit on the bench and watch Bruno Fernandes playing every week. You're going to have to get someone for, like you said, about 50 million, who's probably going to be buzzing that he's at United and can do a job if he's called upon, but is going to accept the idea he doesn't start most games. So someone like a Gibbs-White kind of fits that mould. Yeah. It's going to be that type of player who's like double digits, goals and assists or whatever, has a bit of Premier League experience, is like, you're either going to go one way or the other. You get someone who's like that, or you get an up-and-coming youngster, or you get someone who's past the best and who's like, okay, sort of winding down the career. And I don't want to do that. I'd rather get someone who can come in, and if you need to start him in a Premier League game or in a Champions League game or in a cup game, it's fine. If you need to take Bruno off or give him a rest or whatever, you can do. Or if by, very rarity Bruno's injured, he comes in and no one's like, okay, there's going to be a drop-off, but there's a drop-off with anyone when it comes to Bruno Fernandes. He's the best number 10 in the world, in my opinion. Yeah. So I get that, but at least this is a decent sort of backup. So, yeah, I don't hate this one.
No, and I think as well, you look at someone like Florian Wirtz, he came in, they went young, they went big, 120 million, whatever it was, and he's been bang average. He's been all right. Some games he looks decent, some games he looks shit, but he's certainly not, remember what happened when Bruno came to Man United? Just the absolute tidal wave of quality that he brought, and it's so rare that happens. Yeah. Especially, I think, in that number 10 position where if you're a number 10 in another league, where it's not as aggressive, it's not as physical, it's not as quick as the Premier League, you can be a little bit lightweight, you can be a little bit sort of take your time with your touches, be cute on the ball, be steady, be slow, all that, and get away with it. In the Premier League, you can't do that. You have to be a physical, hard-working, tackling player and creatively brilliant. That's why Bruno's so rare. Players like him or Kevin De Bruyne or these players that are successful in that position, they're so rare because you have to do everything. And if you come from the Bundesliga and you like taking 4 or 5 touches every time you got the ball, you're done in the Premier League. So yeah, I think it's very, very difficult. And someone like Gibbs-White, we know what he can do in this league. And for me, I think he'd be a good player. Is the chat working there?
I don't know. It's. I don't think it is because we've got like 800 people watching. There's not many comments at all. This is very, very rare. Yeah. So I think there might be something wrong with the chat. You what, sorry?
It won't let me put a comment
It won't. Yeah, there's a problem with our chat. Like people can't get involved in the chat, which is the opposite of what I tell everyone. Hit that like button. We are going to try and fix it. So apologies there, because I'm looking at it thinking there's no way no one's got an opinion on this transfer. I mean, we have had United Hub said Morgan Gibbs shite, so they obviously have an opinion on it, and they're sharing it. I think a few people are popping up now. Ross Murphy's in there, one or two others. I think some people are able to comment, others aren't.
Producer Ben isn't, so
I don't know what's going on there. It's a few gremlins in the machine. Forgive me, because this is, excuse me, a bit of Windy Pops, an interactive show.
Yeah.
So
I think it's a YouTube issue, by the way. It's
a
not
YouTube issue. You know. So what I'll do is I'll guess what people are going to say.
Then,
so some people are saying, well, Dave says, not for me, don't think he's good enough. Yeah. John 484 says, don't mind him as a backup to Bruno, but not starting every week.
Is that John who lives near me?
John 484, yeah, he does actually. Yeah. Joe and Jay's adopted son Benjamin says, thanks guys, great show so far.
It's great that that's a real person, but that isn't the real chat. That chat doesn't exist. That's fantastic.
Not says, Morgan Gibbs-White reminds me of a young Peter Davenport. Interesting one there from Sandro.
Nice
he doesn't say that, by the way, because he'll probably disagree with me massively when he does get back on the chat. And I know Peter Davenport was a striker, Morgan Gibbs-White is an attacking midfielder. Thank you.
Very good. But you having him. Let's say 55 million. I'm going to push it to the north end. Yeah. You're taking him for that.
As long as Bruno Fernandes stays at the club.
Yeah.
As long as Bruno Fernandes doesn't leave and they go, I tell you what, don't worry about Bruno going. We've got Morgan Gibbs-White. Then I will be fuming. But if he comes in, I don't mind that. You need to do a little bit of that if you're going to add to the squad. I mean, you were chatting earlier. We need at least, realistically, about 7 players coming in.
Yeah.
That isn't going to be easy. And some of those players are going to be like...
Because we talked about this before.
Range prices.
Our midfield, as proper midfielders go, we have got Mainu, Casemiro, Ugarte. That is it. In those 2 holding positions, they are the only 3 players we've got at the club.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
One of them is definitely leaving in Casemiro. It's announced. We don't have to guess. Ugarte doesn't get any minutes under Carrick and has had 3 consecutive managers not really fancy him, and he's been here 2 years. He is almost certainly leaving as well if someone will have him. So that means for 2 positions across hopefully Champions League, but I would say almost certainly European football, Carabao Cup football, FA Cup football and the Premier League, we have currently got Kobbie Mainoo, who we think will be here next season.
He wants to be.
But even if we got Baleba and Anderson, unbelievable summer. One of the most sort of aggressive, you've gone for it, there's a position he'd fix in, we've fixed it. That is not enough.
No, it's not.
We probably need 3 midfielders.
And you know what the scary thing is as well? I don't think, as it stands, we've got youngsters who are quite ready in the midfield role.
No.
Like Seki Kone's gone out on loan, probably needs at least another season. Toby Collier's had an injury ravaged season.
Yeah.
There isn't anyone who stands out as a midfielder who's ready. Do you know what I mean?
What's the lad who takes all the free kicks and
Gibbs-White.
He plays in this sort of position,
he could
again.
But his problem is he's physical.
Yeah.
Physically, he's probably not quite there yet. Okay. And that annoyed me in the film we're talking about. And I get annoyed. It's like it's not just about physicality. I heard this nonsense when it came to Kobbie Mainoo and people going, he ain't quick enough. Well, he is for starters, and also he doesn't have to be the fastest player on the pitch because he reads the game almost as well as anyone on the pitch, if not better than most people on the pitch. And when it comes to his ability on the ball, he's phenomenal, and he's shown that since Carrick's come back in. But that whole argument annoyed me because it was like, well, actually, I don't think Mainoo is physical enough for the Premier League. You've not watched him when he's been playing the Premier League. What are you on about? So we get too caught up in it sometimes. That being said, you do need a certain level of physicality, and maybe Gibbs-White isn't there yet. He's still only 18.
Because Kobbie doesn't have that top-end pace, but in terms of duels and when he's getting stuck in and when he's shoulder-to-shoulder people, he doesn't get beaten.
No, and if he's someone's got the ball and he hasn't, he can keep up with them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's not like he's like, oh, God, I'm done here. Casemiro, you take over. So it's one of those where we need to be able to get players in who aren't necessarily the quickest, fastest, but they have to have a certain level of physicality. Gibbs-White, at the minute, probably not quite there, but who knows? Listen, hopefully I'm wrong.
Interesting, though, that we are linked with Morgan Gibbs-White. It's a new name on the list, isn't it? Very much so. Another name that has been put on the list as of recently. Let's move on to our next story. Looney deal for the Toons. I don't mind that. I don't love it.
Looney deal for the Toons.
It's leaning towards something, isn't it? It's getting there, but it doesn't quite. land?
No, it's all right.
Yeah.
I'm sort of distracted
Why?
by Anthony Gordon.
What, just his face?
I don't really like him, mate.
As a person?
Yeah.
Why? Because he looks like...
Go on.
Well, people say, don't they?
What?
Claire Balding.
Looks like Claire Balding.
You've not heard that?
Really?
You've not heard people say it looks like Claire Balding?
He does. I always thought Steve Bruce looks a bit like Claire Balding, but yeah, I get what
It's
you
the
mean.
hair.
Yeah.
And the face.
Yeah, no, I get it.
whole-
Yeah, a bit harsh on Claire Balding, but I get it.
It is. Shall I read this and then we'll get into it? Because there's almost two parallel stories here, and we'll get into this because for the last basically 6 hours, we've been working out whether this is bollocks or not, and it almost feels like there might be a split right between Tonali and...
Is that what you've been doing? I wonder why you had your hand down your pants for so long.
No, that's... Multiple reports suggest United interest in Newcastle duo. Speaking on Inside United, Laurie Whitwell spoke on Sandro Tonali. I think on Inside United, that's us, by the way. I think United have had a look at him. Let's see if they end up acting on it. They want to have options, really, don't they? You don't want to just be going for one person. Dean Jones has previously reported Man United's desire to sign Tonali, who is said to be valued at 100 million by Newcastle. Fabrizio Romano added that Sandro Tonali is appreciated. Now, let's pause there. So we've got there relatively reliable people talking about Man United's interest, or at least acknowledgement of the quality of Tonali, and maybe expressing some potential future keenness to bring him to the club. Okay. Then we've got the Anthony Gordon stories, which go like this. Graham Bailey has reported United's interest in Gordon, with sources telling us, and by us, that is Graham Bailey and... who is it, Team Talk, about this, which again, not quite so reliable, that it could take 125 million for Newcastle to sell the winger. An extraordinary offer would be needed to prize Gordon away, with Newcastle adamant that an exit for the winger would require a similar fee to that Liverpool paid for Isak. Now, there's so much here, right? First of all, sorry to just speak for ages, Jay.
No, please do, man. I love it when you do.
People will have seen these stories. So first of all of the people linking us to Anthony Gordon that we could find are either not top of the pile reliability, quoting a report from Spain, which the closest I could find to that original report was Ficharges, who themselves are not worth the paper they're written on, quoting another report that wasn't even mentioned. So I don't even know if they're even talking about a real report. And then I think people may be reporting the Ficharges one who actually themselves aren't even quoting anything. I think the Gordon one might be bollocks. Now, the other element of the Gordon one is they want 120 million quid for him, Jay.
125.
125 million quid for him. So let's just go this, and then we'll go back to Tonali, which I think is the more likely story here and the actual one that's probably worth our time. But just before that, thoughts on Gordon and the idea of paying 125 million pounds for him this summer?
Completely pointless and unrealistic. It isn't going to happen. There's zero chance that Anthony Gordon's going to end up at Manchester United, and nor should he. He's not what we need. He's bang average. He's one of those players that makes you think he's really good, but he actually isn't. I've watched him a few times, and he's got a lot of talent, he's got a lot of ability. Of course he has. He's played for England, he's played at the top level in the Premier League for about 3 or 4 years now. He's been on the scene since he was a teenager. There's no doubt he's got skill, but he's just a little bit better than Alejandro Garnacho. He's just a player that can go past someone, can get a shot off, but his decision making isn't great. His numbers aren't that exciting, and also he cost a lot of money. There's just, no, not for me. The only reason you would get Anthony Gordon if he was available on a free, and you were like, look, we need numbers because we've got European football next season. Yeah, okay. 125 million, right? We're going to lose 2 of our most important players in the... Sorry, we're gonna lose at least one of our most important players in Casemiro. We're gonna need more players anyway, like you've mentioned, because they're leaving. There's a good chance we might even lose someone like a Harry Maguire or someone that we actually need to replace. We've still got injury issues with the likes of Martinez, the likes of De Ligt, where it's not quite as great as it could be with some of the players, even though we love those players. They do suffer from injuries. So you're looking at it going, look, we might need to strengthen. We need another number 9. We probably need a backup to Benjamin Sesko because Joshua Zirkzee is not that guy. You probably want to get at least one more fullback in as well. So you've got to do all this stuff, and you're going to do all that and spend 125 million quid on a winger who's probably good enough for your bench. No, you're just not going to do that, are you? There's no way you're going to do that. Like, that would be insane. If United went outright and bought any player for 125 million, we'd all be like, fucking hell, we're mean business. If United went out and spent 125 million on Anthony Gordon, I'd be fucking wounded.
Yeah.
Genuinely, I'd be like, well, we've just fucked up here royally, because that means now we can't go for some of the players that you mentioned. We can't go out and get 4 or 5 players. We can probably bring in another 2.
Yeah.
And that ain't going to be enough.
No.
And 125 million for Alexander Isak was a lot, but I got it. I understood why he did it. His numbers were phenomenal last season in particular. When you watched him, he was mint, and you thought, yeah, okay, Liverpool want a number 9, he could do the job. Now, it's not worked out for him because of injury and other stuff. Well, injuries now, obviously. But I understood it. 125 million for Anthony Gordon is just fucking nonsense.
No, I don't think he's worth half that. And just because Newcastle paid 68 million, whatever it was, that doesn't mean that you then get to double his price when he's come in, and for me, been probably not as good as you thought he was going to be in that time. No. And people might look at his Champions League goals this season.
He's got 10, has he?
Which is amazing. That is genuinely, most top world-class strikers never scored 10 Champions League goals in a single season. But the new format of the Champions League allows things to happen that could never happen before.
Yeah.
You get a 2-legged tie against carrier bags.
Yeah.
Now, that was impossible.
What
before.
carrier bags are they though?
The thin Safeway ones.
Not the ones you can put other carrier bags in?
No. This is the one that you have...
The ones used for like dog poo?
Yeah.
Dog
you
poo
can see your
carrier
hand
bags.
through it.
Oh my God, no.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because these
trash,
teams would
literally.
never get out of the group stage before.
Yeah.
Whereas now they can get into the qualifying group stage, which is where Newcastle played him. He scored 4 goals against him in the last game. So that kind of just proximity to teams that really aren't good enough has gone up massively. There's more teams now than there ever was, more teams qualifying than there ever has been. So he's got 10 goals. His Premier League numbers are consistently below average.
Yeah.
He's a 6 goal, 4 assists, 3 goals, 5 assists, 8 goals, 4 assists kind of guy. And that's all right, but it's not, as we were saying before, he's not as good as Jared Bowen.
No, is he?
And then even Jared Bowen is in that section below, I think, Cunha's and Mbeumo's and players that we actually want to be buying for Man United.
Can I tell you something?
Go on.
And everyone will like this, and it's probably a good thing that people can't comment and chat. He's not as good as Marcus Rashford.
No, he's not.
He's fucking not.
No, he's nowhere near.
He's not. And like, I'm not saying bring back Marcus Rashford, by the way, but I'm not saying buy Anthony Gordon either. No. That's my point.
Anthony Gordon will never have a 30-goal season.
No, what the fuck?
No.
Like, seriously, what we're doing, like, no, not a chance do we need Anthony Gordon. Should we be going anywhere near a player for 125 million of that calibre? He ain't good enough. I agree with you. Even if he was fucking 60 million, I'd still be saying no.
I agree.
Like, Newcastle have fucked up with their transfer policy. They have. Yes, they've got Bruno Guimaraes who's mint, and they've got 1 or 2 others who've been bargains like Dan Burn and a couple of others, but they have massively overspent on some dross. Like, I liked Anthony Elanga when he was at United. I don't want to hate on the kid, but they wasted a lot of money on him. He's not worth the 60 million they paid for him, or 55 million, whatever it is, by any stretch of the imagination.
We could have told him.
Yeah, and a lot of the Geordies have proper turned against him.
Yeah.
And I can understand why, because he's not at that level where they've got aspirations of really challenging at the top, and he's not the kid to do that for you. And I feel bad saying that because I actually like him, but he's just not good enough for that, for what they wanted and the money they spent on him. And he's not the only one they've wasted money on. They spent a lot of money in the summer.
Jacob Ramsey,
there's another
40
one,
million put on him.
Like,
Again, below average Premier League player. Even Nick Voltemade, who had a decent start, isn't a great striker.
No.
He's all right. But again, they spent 70 million quid on him. Like, they spent 200 million quid in the summer, very similar to what United spent.
Yep.
And partly because of their draw and partly because of, going after the wrong people, they ended up with players that just weren't good enough. And I think they did what Liverpool did and what Tottenham did, less so Liverpool because they did buy some good players partially. But what Tottenham did when they sold Bale is, we need to show our fans that we are reinvesting this money in the squad, so let's just spend it now. Yeah. And then you look back and you go, actually, fucking wasted it. We've got Nasser Chadley, Eric Lamela, remember all them lot that they got? Fucking Tom Huddleston, whoever else was it? It wasn't Tom Huddleston.
Who?
Yeah, Soldado.
That
You've ended up with 6 players, and all of them are bang average, and that's sort of what Newcastle have done. On to Tonali though, where this is, I think, a bit more. There's some more truth to this. I'm not saying we're going to sign him; it's happening, but I think there is a genuine interest in Tonali from Manchester United in a way I don't believe there is with Anthony Gordon. What do you make of Tonali? Quality, personality, fit at Manchester United.
He's all right. I mean, I get it. I get why there'd be interest, and I get if he's gettable, why United would be looking at him. Obviously, does a decent job for them, Premier League experience. again, it sort of fits into that mould I was talking about earlier about how we need sort of players who can come in and do a job for us next season, whether that's in the Premier League or hopefully in the Champions League. He does all that. I just need to see a bit more from him, I think. I've watched a few, especially since we were in links, I've been watching, I think he's all right. I don't know, though. You know, they're a weird club, Newcastle.
Yeah.
And I almost feel like when I watch Newcastle sometimes, you get the impression, in some games with Newcastle, right, where 10 minutes in, it looks like they've down tools.
Yeah.
It looks like they give up.
Yeah.
I think you look like you can't be arsed with this today already. And you got other games where they look like they could beat anyone.
They are.
I don't know what it is with them. Like,
polarised,
yeah,
aren't they?
I was watching them against City the other day, and they were unlucky not to get a result against City. I thought they deserved the draw out of it, and they were unlucky with the decision as well that Bernardo Silva didn't get a second yellow. But he kept going. And they almost got a draw at the Etihad. I know you don't get, almost getting a draw at the Etihad isn't fucking get the bunting out. But I thought they gave a good account of themselves. But I've seen them other times this season where they've just looked piss poor.
Yeah.
So Tonali, I get it, and if we signed him for a decent fee, like wasn't too much, I'd be okay with that. I'm gonna have to watch a bit more of him to really form an opinion because whilst I understand this transfer, and I think it makes a lot of sense, I just want to watch a bit more of him.
One thing I do like about him and the idea of signing a player from Newcastle is a lot of their success has been built on high intensity, hard work.
Yeah.
And when you bring in players with that as their background, I think that adds, not necessarily adds, but certainly, he can slot nicely into training, into the games, where you've not got someone who is used to walking around and strolling about the pitch all the time. He's used to working hard. He's got a really good sort of mindset on that front, and I think United need players like that. And I think that's one area, as I keep saying, where United have improved massively over the last 2 years. We sprint, we work hard, we don't get out muscled, and he's used to all that. So for me, I think that would be one positive of bringing him in. He can slot in sort of mentality-wise, if nothing else. Yeah,
I have put the message in. I hope you can all read that. Like, there are issues with the chat. I imagine people are trying to comment because no chats are coming through. We've got over 1,200 people watching.
Yeah.
But you've just joined us. You're not sure what's going on, and you've been trying to comment, and it's not going through. There's a YouTube issue with the chat. It's not our end. It's something going on with YouTube. So I'm sorry you can't get involved in the chat. If you try, 1 or 2 are coming through, which is even weirder.
Put your phone number in, just so they can text you if you want to get in the chat.
Hang on a minute. Let me just. I've got my phone number stored in my phone.
Even our chats from Paddock can't go in.
Our own chats from
our own
Paddock
chat,
aren't going in.
but I've got I store my number under
That's
a special.
my number, I can see
Joe
that.
Smith.
No, don't do that.
No,
that's
go
not.
on.
Don't put that in there.
079.
That's not it.
All right, okay.
It's not that. It's 07611458314. You absolute dickhead. He's so thick. You can't even say my real number. Idiot.
He's done me there. You
fool.
are what am I like, eh? Do you know what I mean?
Foolish dosser. Should we move on to our next story? What we got? 5 million. Gobble that up. Turkey.
Yeah. I don't mind it. I feel like we've had it before.
I think we've had a turkey.
I think we've had a turkey gobble.
Yeah.
Right.
We might have done. We thought we might have done.
I think we've had a gobble.
Right. Well, that was quite a 180 there. No. We might have done.
Do you like it though?
I don't mind it.
Yeah.
I don't hate it. Isn't it Turkey A now though? By the way.
What do you mean?
That's what the country's called now.
Turkey A.
Yeah, they've
That's
changed
what you
it.
say when you get it on Christmas dinner, don't you?
Shut up. They've just shut up.
A classic Stretford Paddock interaction there, by the
Yeah,
way.
I'm actually thinking back to do 180 sort of Ben style. I actually quite like that in the end. But yeah, it's TURKIYE now. That's how it's.
What do you mean now? Why?
What do you mean now? It's changed.
What, you just fucking what?
I'm not saying.
What do you mean now? What do you mean now? That doesn't make any sense.
I'm
what you
not
just said.
picking it in this moment. I haven't just declared that.
Why
I am
in
not the leader of the
2026
Ottoman Empire.
are we suddenly referring or calling Turkey by a different way?
That's a good question, and
Thank
it
you.
is one that I don't know.
There we go, that's the
answer to
answer.
it.
Not when I say, why
Yes.
now, what's the bias now, do you just repeat what I've said?
Okay, sorry.
That doesn't help
Okay,
us.
so, well, the answer to your question is, it has recently been changed for reasons I'm not aware of.
okay.
And I'm sure if the chat was fully functioning,
yeah.
they would immediately tell us, or if perhaps we had 2 producers sat behind 2 different computers, they might be able to tell us.
Oh, we're back. People are back in the chat.
People back in.
Notch says, it's how Turkey is pronounced in Turkish. That's how we ask. That's how they ask it. We pronounce it now. So it's like, give me an example of something else. Like Camp Nou instead of New Camp.
Yeah, or we call it Naples, they call it Napoli.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So
For instance.
Do you do that when you go abroad?
Yeah.
Do you speak?
I call
in
Naples
their-
Napoli now.
in their vernacular.
But I don't. Mostly I don't, because I don't know. There's a weird line, isn't there? Because everyone says Ibiza,
Yeah.
but no one says Ibiza, and yet if someone says like, I'm trying to think of one, Thaltha, for a dip, you would fucking you'd kick them out your house immediately, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Or if someone put an Indian accent on when they ordered a curry, you would literally have to take them outside and say, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
And yet certain things culturally we just do it.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
Like when people say
I mean?
Bruno Fernandes, struggle with that. But again, it is technically correct, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is there anything you do that others don't do?
I put on an English accent when I order an English breakfast.
Do you?
Yeah.
Go on. Yeah, what can I get?
Can I have an English breakfast?
Yeah, do you want hash browns?
Oi, oi.
Black pudding?
Yeah, I'll have bread pudding.
Flagon of mead?
No, I'm an alcoholic.
Like that was a thing in medieval Britain. We'll get him 2 flagons of mead. We'll certainly knock that out of him. Yeah, no, that's a good point, actually. Right, here we go. Alto Bayendir has reached an agreement with Super League giant. A sensational development has emerged even before the summer window opens. Besiktas have reached an agreement with Manchester United's goalkeeper Altay Bayındır. The signing will take place as soon as the transfer period begins. Previous reports indicated that Besiktas management had shown interest in Altay Bayındır during the January transfer window. Negotiations with the 27-year-old, initially focused on an annual salary of €3 million, had previously been reduced to €2 million. The English team is also receptive to the €5 million offer. Another meeting took place between the two sides this week, and it emerged that an agreement had been reached regarding the transfer. Now that's according to Fanatic, a Turkish outlet, apparently. So there we go.
Okay.
You up for that? 5 million?
He's got to go.
Yeah.
And I know I say this all the time. Met him, lovely guy, not good enough.
Yeah.
That's it.
Simple.
I
And
mean,
don't think there's
so
anyone
many
saying anything else
mistakes.
either, yeah.
Like, so many mistakes.
Yeah.
That you, if, God forbid, Senna Lemons was to get injured this season and he had to come back in, we would be shitting it.
Yeah, we would.
We would. Imagine, right, that Everton game the other night with him in there.
Oh, dear.
Oh, my God.
2-3-1 Everton, probably?
Oh, at least.
Yeah.
Like, it would have been. And I'm not trying to hate on the guy,
Yeah.
but you can just see he's had that many mistakes now, his confidence is shot. You can tell it is. You can see he's like, oh my God. Like, opposition know he's got no confidence.
Yeah.
So I mean, the crowd anyway in corners, but they're going to be doing it more so if that's possible against someone like Bayern there. His defenders know he's not up to it. That breeds nerves. The crowd know. You can sense the crowd are on his case. So it just file under did not work at all and move on.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's not one of those positions where you can get away with it, is it? Let's be right. Let's be frank. It's not like, oh, we'll just play him now and again I'll bring him on for the last 5 minutes. He's not a winger.
No.
Like, just move on. Didn't work. I wish him well. I genuinely do because he's a nice fella, but not good enough for Manchester United. Not even this Manchester United or last season's Manchester United, which was the worst Manchester United almost ever.
Yeah.
He still weren't good enough, which speaks volumes.
Yeah. Should we move on to our next story?
Yes, let's please
I don't think
do.
there's anyone arguing that one. What we got? Senna's squeezed him out.
I like that.
I don't get it.
Lemons.
Lemons.
Yeah. When life gives you lemons,
Squeezed him out. Squeeze out an honour.
perfect.
What?
That's the famous saying.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind that. Well done. Squeezed out. Are you into? When's the last time you squeezed citrus?
I squeezed citrus this time last week. Sorry. Yesterday last week. Last Tuesday.
Yeah, as the great poets would have said.
Yes. Like, I think was it that Abe Lincoln started the Gettysburg
That's
Address.
the most succinct version of that sentence.
Yesterday, last week.
Well, let's just say
Yes.
so. This time,
Four
last
score
week,
around
or
8
another-
years ago.
Yeah.
Bollocks to that. Yesterday, last week.
So
I couldn't get any Jif lemon juice. Other lemon juices are available.
Oh, for your pancakes?
Yes. So I bought a lemon.
Yeah.
Chopped it in half and squoze it.
Outside of a pancake
Yeah.
day scenario, how often
Oh,
do you
I'm
squeeze
telling a
citrus?
lie.
Go on.
I squoze citrus yesterday.
Did you?
Yes, I
What
did.
What are you doing?
I cut up a lime.
Yeah.
And my lady friend had non-alcoholic, by the way, Corona.
Oh wow.
So
Is the lime non-alcoholic as well?
yes.
Good.
It was from the non-alcoholic lime shop.
Yeah, it's classic.
That's on the High Street, Manchester.
Yeah.
So I've got quite a lot of.
You've got a
citrus squeezing experience over the last 8 days.
You've got a real backstory.
I have been, I've been on it, mate. Don't you worry about me. Can't move in our house for me. Squeezing citruses.
Squeezing lemons.
Squeezing citruses.
Good point.
Absolutely loves it, the lad. I tell you what, when's the last time you squoze citruses?
I squoze lemon into a tuna mayo today.
You're so woke.
Yeah, I am, yeah.
So he says after squeezing lemon into squeezing lime into
an alcohol-free Corona. Grow up, mate.
Jesus, wet.
Yeah, because do you know have you ever had, oh God, I'm not making it any better for myself. But you know sometimes we're at the train station and the only option is pret a manger? Have you ever had their tuna and cucumber baguette?
No, you know when it's the only option is pret a manger?
Yeah.
I just put my nose against the glass.
Yeah.
Like, look at what
And
I
dream.
wish I could have.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you know, like a little Dickensian boy on Christmas Day?
Yeah.
Like, oh,
Tiny Tim style.
Yeah, like that. Because I can't afford to live pret.
Their tuna cucumber has got a bit of a tang to it.
Yeah, as I say.
And I don't know what it is, so I try every time I make tuna mayo now. I try a different type of sour, and I don't know what it is. Still don't know what it is. I think it might be like a apple cider vinegar.
I'd love you to ask someone who works at Pret Manager what it is.
Why do you get the tang in there?
Because I know that's what I mean.
They'd never know.
And you know what they'd be thinking when you asked? Why is this guy asking me this fucking shit? But I've got to pretend I give a shit.
Because we sort of have the pretense of being one of the slightly more upmarket.
Yeah, so I can't just say,
shops.
bro, I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
I'm on living wage, just allow me, just piss off.
Yeah.
They're going to have to go, let me try and find out. And then they're going to have to go in the back.
And just not come out.
Send someone else out.
So I'm squeezing a different type of acidity into my
Have you got anywhere? Have you got close to it?
No, I did Sarson's malt vinegar last time.
It's like that Roald Dahl book, isn't it? Is it George's Marvellous Medicine?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that, isn't it?
Yeah, trying to find out the best tuna mayo recipe.
Good luck with that.
Thank you very much. And speaking of good luck to Onana in his task to reclaim the #1 spot at Man United. This is from The Guardian. Andre Onana wants to fight to re-establish himself as Manchester United's #1 when his season's loan at Trabzonspor finishes in May, and believes that he will be given a chance to do so. Onana joined United from Inter in July 2023 on a 5-year contract for an initial £44.1 million, but proved too inconsistent, making a series of errors. Despite Onana's understanding that he will have a chance to compete for the #1 jersey, he faces a struggle to reclaim it given the impressive form of Lomans. The 23-year-old has been impressive in his debut campaign in English football, keeping an impressive 5 clean sheets in his 21 Premier League games and displaying impressive calmness. That's from The Guardian. I mean, obviously he can fight for his spot. If he's in the team or in the squad, should I say, theoretically anything he does is fighting for his #1 spot. This just feels completely unlikely to me. What do you think?
Yeah, look, it feels like PR, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, the club probably, want to give the impression that, he's not done and that, whatever. He's probably trying to say, look, I still want to go back to United. I still think I can do a job there. Obviously, I've got aspirations of being #1. But in reality, he's got fucking zero chance of coming back to Manchester United and being our #1. And nor should he. He was a disaster of a signing, I think it's safe to say.
Yep. Similar
to Bayern, just not good enough. And that Grimsby game needs to be his last game for Manchester United.
Has he not played since then?
No.
Wow.
Unless, because it was, Bayern came back in after that, didn't he?
Yeah, I guess.
And unless it's like, he comes back for pre-season a la Sancho and then fucks off somewhere. Just look, it was a gamble, wasn't it? And we tried to convince ourselves. I hadn't seen much of him. I saw him in the Champions League final. I thought, okay, he played really well in that. Lost, but it was his fault. I get it. A different type of goalkeeper, plays out of the back, something David De Gea struggled with. Let's give him a chance. But it just didn't work. And the fact that we spent 44 million quid on someone who we could have got for free a year before as well, which was a bit bizarre. And he just never looked really comfortable as a Manchester United player. He had one spell, didn't he, where me and you did a video on him, where he'd been playing well for about 5 or 6 games.
I think,
and that was the end of that.
In his defence, I think both seasons he was here, from sort of Christmas to March, which again is not 3 months twice, but from Christmas to March in the Premier League exclusively, he was all right twice. But like you said, over 2 years, 2 3-month periods is not good enough.
No.
It cost us our Champions League place and was shocking before.
That Champions League
last
campaign,
December was so bad, and not the one just got the one before. 2024.
That Champions League campaign, will be studied for years to come.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like that, to be honest with you. Was it the Galatasaray game in particular, Old Trafford?
Yeah.
Where
And the Copenhagen game.
couldn't have been any worse. I could have done what he did.
Yeah.
Like, he fucking just gave away goal after goal, more or less got Casemiro sent off, I think, was it, with his recklessness. It was just fucking unbelievable.
Yeah, it was terrible.
What we were watching. And he's just one of those, like, instinctively has got some shot-stopping ability, but just too crazy. Too crazy.
Yeah,
Some of the things he did. I don't want the word zany attached to my goalkeeper anymore.
Wacky.
Yeah, wacky.
No.
He's a character, isn't he? I don't want a character.
No.
I want someone who's boring, like Senna Lomans, in a good way. Van der Sar was.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I don't want someone who's, do you know what I mean, a quirky character. Fuck all that noise. Yeah, get him gone.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the comments for people who've just joined, the comments aren't working properly on YouTube.
Let me see if there's any development, because it's weird, because some of them are...
A couple of
some are getting
but
through.
Not really.
Wayne Davis, 1977, says, oh, nah, no. Yeah,
Nice.
Red Lad says, lol, nana. Yeah, because you always look for the pun, don't you?
Yeah.
With the calamity type pun
Yeah.
that the tabloids love when it comes to a bad goalkeeper at Manchester United.
Yeah.
And oh, no, nana, and oh, no, nana, that kind of thing works really well, doesn't it? But yeah,
Classic stuff.
we don't need him anymore, unfortunately. And it's like really weird career at United, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like the whole AFCON thing was mental.
Yeah.
Flies over to AFCON late on a private jet. Like he gets permission, obviously. Goes in a private jet because of a sandstorm. He has to lands in a different country. Then has to get, is it the trains are off, so he has to get drive or something. Gets there 2 hours before kick-off, and the manager's like, well, you ain't playing, you've just got it, you've not had any training or anything. So doesn't play in the first game. Plays in the second, and he's absolutely fucking awful. And then he's dropped for his cousin in the third game, so comes back.
And then he got kicked out, didn't they?
Yeah, like, just really bizarre.
Yeah,
like, everything about him was bizarre. So, yeah, just file under didn't work at all.
Yeah.
At least he won an FA Cup, I'll give him that.
There you go. What we got next? Here we go. Glazing over the issue.
It's fine.
Yeah. It's fine.
Yeah, it's what we wanted.
Yeah, they knew
Just
it.
needed a safe one.
They knew it, so they just needed a safe one. That's
Yeah,
what they said. Just needed
okay.
a safe one.
Yeah,
You know, but you
that's
wander
fine.
up, pass it around the back a little
The
bit.
story is just predominantly numbers.
The story's predominantly numbers. Where do you go with that? Do you know what I mean? There's nowhere they could have gone with it.
No, there isn't.
There you go. Man United post profit, but debt rises to 1.3 billion. Way, boo. Hey, boo. Hard. What do we know? I don't know. Let's find out. Man United's chief executive Omar Barada says the benefits of the club's off-pitch transformation is being recognised through improved financial performance, even though the club's debt is now approaching 1.3 billion pounds. United have posted an operating profit of 32.6 million for the 6 months to December 2025. This contrasts sharply with a loss of 3.9 million for the same period 12 months ago. However, United also drew down an additional 25 million on their rolling credit facility, which now stands at 295.7 million pounds. With that, the legacy debt from the Glazer family takeover and an additional liabilities listed of more than 500 million, the vast majority of which is outstanding transfer fee payments, the club owed a staggering 1.29 billion at the end of last year. So, good news and bad news. Good news is 30 million quid profit. The bad news is sort of 60 times that in debt.
I mean, I don't know.
Which isn't ideal, is it?
How to get my head around all this. Obviously, the fact we were in loads of debt still, because of the Glazers, they got us into this mess, is infuriating. The fact we've got profit makes me feel like we can spend some money in the transfer window if we've got it.
Yeah.
In the summer. I do notice that this is up to the 31st of December. So is that pre-hammering payoff and all that? Is that going to come into the
Yes.
next set of accounts? I don't know
Yeah,
how
probably.
much that's going to affect. Because then we have to pay off him and all his staff, which I presume would have, is going to affect the next report. So I don't know with anything like this. I just want someone to say, can we buy any players? How much can we spend? How much have we got to spend? And the ticket's going to go up. Just tell me that. That's all. That's what I need to know, basically, because these numbers are that high and ridiculous now. They're almost meaningless.
Some of this debt is a lot more egregious than other bits of it as well.
Yeah.
Like the 500 million owed on unpaid transfers. That's sort of standard. Not that exact amount, but no one pays off their transfers the day you buy them anymore.
No.
That doesn't happen. So you have an accumulation of, let's say you pay someone off over 5 years or 3 years. You've got all of your last 3 years' worth of transfers at some stage of being paid off at any given moment, which amounts to something like 500 quid. That's one thing. The rest of the debt, a lot of it is the same debt that was put on the club when the Glazers bought it. That is obviously absurd and has been for over 20 years at this point. So, some of it is different to others. The operating profit, again, is a nice thing to see. You want to be making money rather than losing money. That always helps. But again, like you said, I think most of it is, can we be successful on the pitch? And I think this, without being a resounding yes, is a decent platform to build from the summer, and that's the main thing that matters right now and sort of going forward. So
we'll speak to, maybe get Kieran Maguire on the channel again, or Matt Slater. I've not had him on for a while. I really like Matt as well. Financial experts who are very, very good at explaining this to in layman's terms that even I can understand. Yeah. So we'll maybe get Kieran on probably next week. Do you want to have a chat with him next week?
That'd be great.
Yeah, Joe will chat to Kieran Maguire. He can go through all this and explain what it means, what the likelihood is of this changing anytime soon.
Yeah.
Does it mean anything in terms of long-term future of the club, with the proposed stadium, with the Glazer ownership, with Ineos, all that jazz? We'll get Joe to chat to Kieran next week. We'll probably do that next Tuesday.
Lovely.
I'll message him. Right.
What we got next? That's our last story, I think. Hated, adored, potatoes been gnawed.
Very good.
That's really good.
Very good.
Really,
yeah,
really good.
Really
and that's
good.
the one they were excited about.
That
I know
is.
it is.
I honestly think that's my finest involvement.
That's one of your best
Do you know how good that is?
Go on.
It's one of those where you go, did they think of that?
Yeah.
Like,
It came to me.
if I Google that now, is this going to come up somewhere?
No, it won't.
For put
Right.
that into
We had a
Twitter.
different pun. I came upstairs to chat to you. I came back down and Harry had this, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, nah, it's
Yes. I think...
it's fantastic.
I just want to say as well, sorry, some of the chat's been coming through. Not much. Forward Tackle Man says, comments sent through my laptop are showing on screen. Comments sent from phone do not. So thank you for looking at that.
I love that. We've got
giving a bit of a
crime scene investigators.
yeah,
into this.
CSI. Forward Tackle Man. Thank you. I feel bad, man, that we don't have comments tonight. It's really annoying.
That reminds me. The other day I was chatting to my partner Lizzie.
Yeah.
And we were talking, and I just looked at her and out of just for no reason I just said Phobos Taco Man, and I just remember doing that like it was a dream. We were just talking, and my brain just said it at her face, and she was like, "What the fuck is that mean?" I was like, "Oh, it's just someone that gets in the chat at Paddock." I just said Phobos Taco Man. Sorry, but yeah, it's life, I guess. Great pun. Let's read this story because it is mad to me that this makes the Daily Mail, and I think only United.
No.
What?
You don't get off that easy.
What
the fuck?
Oh, sorry, go on. What?
You sound charity business. Yeah. And you just said Phobos Taco Man to her.
Yeah.
Why?
The words popped in my head and I like them. Phobos. I like the word phobos.
What did the poor woman think?
Because I like the word phobos because it reminds me of sort of like, is it sort of Latin kind of, the sort of things that people would say in the past? like a pathos or whatever. And then I like tacos, and I like every time they get in the comments. I assume it's a man because Phobos Taco Man. I always think my brain just thinks about it loads. I don't know why. Phobos Taco Man. I really like it. Anyway, yeah, I don't know.
Honestly,
it just pops in anything. I'm just going to say it out loud because it feels nice to say. You say it out loud.
Phobos Taco Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's
Phobos.
fine. I don't know if I want to be randomly saying it to my missus.
No,
but
I didn't strictly mean to. I just sort of thought of it and then was saying it before
was just
I knew.
yeah, sort of a reaction.
Yes. Let's get into this then. This is according to the Daily Mail. The owner of a cafe used by match-going United fans has been fined £10,000 after inspectors discovered a rat infestation, a 0-star rating, which for me shouldn't even be possible, was handed to the United Cafe, which sits in the shadows of Old Trafford. Sits in the shadows of... Old Trafford, the stadium, of course. I thought it just meant the place. Following a visit from an inspector which unearthed the issue with rodents and found potatoes that had been gnawed by rats. Yeah, the United-themed cafe voluntarily closed its premises on Chester Road and was ordered to carry out a deep clean. The visit found the potatoes had been eaten by rodents, rat droppings under the chip range. What's a chip range? And a series of other issues. On a follow-up visit to a burger... What? On a follow-up visit, a burger containing gluten was served to a, quote, customer, which for me is a rat in a trench coat. That's why it says customer in quotes. A customer, I doubt it very much, who was actually an undercover inspector who had declared an allergy. Fucking hell. It's all gone wrong.
Mate, what the fuck? There's a lot to take in it.
No, it's too much.
This is like...
Even Harry's eating there. I'm eating there.
We all have.
Everyone's eating there. To be fair, not for maybe 20 years.
Right, I mean, I don't like to hate on people, like, but that is absolutely minging.
It's rough stuff, isn't it?
Potatoes that have been gnawed by rats.
Yeah.
Rat droppings under the chip range. I don't know what the chip range is, but
next time I know what I'm ordering next time I go there, though.
And then they're trying to kill customers as well.
I'll have the chip range.
I'm allergic to gluten. Is this got gluten in it? If I have gluten, I will die. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Oh, I'm dead. Mint. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Because if there's, let's say, I don't know, I'm going to try and give them some excuses here. Let's say the location of your shop, just, you know, it's near
What's going on with after here?
What do you mean?
Sorry,
they're somewhat near water, which attracts rats. I mean, they're a couple hundred yards away, so it's not
somewhat near
water.
The River Irwell is only 1,000 metres away.
No, it's not that far. Anyway, yeah, something like that.
Right, it's about 200 metres away. Fine. So, what else are they meant to do?
Maybe there's some sort of drainage issues that isn't on their land that is attracting rats. I'm just, whatever. Let's just say, somehow, let's say the rat thing is a really difficult thing to deal with. Fine. Serving someone a gluten when you've said that you haven't, that is just on you, isn't it? You know, if someone's going to, it's like saying, oh, peanut allergy, and you're just giving someone a big nut.
So rank.
It's bad, that.
Potatoes that have been gnawed by rats. Do you know full well as well? They're going to find them potatoes, right, that have been gnawed by the rats and just cut the bit out.
Cut it out.
And then just cut the chips from, like, the bits that's not been gnawed by the rat. Like,
they're not the real ones, are they? They're the real ones.
That's what I mean.
They're
that
proper
is absolutely minging.
That's really gnawed.
Honestly. Mate, I'm like, no, I don't want to hate on anyone, and hopefully they'll get their act together, but I'm just going to say,
rat together.
I don't think I'll be eating there anytime soon, at least for the next few weeks.
Yeah, exactly. Once they get the hygiene rating up, I'll trust that.
Do you know, I bet if you went in there tomorrow, they'd have a 5-star rating on the fucking certificate. Do you know what I mean? With rating spelled with 2 T's.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Ratting. Ironically. Yeah. And also, it's not that hard to get a 5-star rating.
No.
I've worked in cafes and places.
It's just don't have fucking rodents running around everywhere. And you're probably
put the date
alright.
that you opened it on it.
Yeah.
Don't store meat on cheese. You know, wash stuff.
Don't.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Not
That's enough.
No.
Right.
But there you go. And it's funny as well, isn't it, that a cafe that is somewhat near Old Trafford, obviously it's themed like United.
Well, according to this, it's in the shadows of Old Trafford.
Yeah, exactly. In the shadows of Old Trafford makes national news because it's got some rodent friends. It is very much a Man United only type story, this, isn't it? Most clubs just don't carry enough weight that you could have a story like this and put it in a national newspaper and get anyone to read it. But that is sort of Man United.
That's how big we are at Manchester United.
Yeah.
When there's a rat infestation in a nearby chippy, it makes the national news. Yeah. Don't let anyone ever tell you we're not back, because we are.
As the old saying goes, hated, adored, potatoes been gnawed.
Fucking class.
Unbelievable.
Class.
What a place to... I am proud to end the show.
That's why we pay him the Pret a Manger money.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
And they trim both crusts off the end of the baguette as well. They're the only ones that do that. What they're doing with those crusts, I'll never know. Interesting though, isn't it?
Well, it's a mystery. Big thank you to Joe for that comment there. Big thank you to the lads in the production desk for all their excellent puns. You can go and check him out on the Sloppy Joe's podcast. There should be a link in the chat to the merchandise, or if not, there's one in the descriptions.
I like
go
that
and
piece
check
you've got
out the merchandise. Yes, you can
really
get
nice,
some Stretford Paddock merch. Thank you to everyone who supported the channel by buying merch. We're going to be back tomorrow with me, Joe, McCullough and Howson for Off the Bar. So make sure you are hitting like, share and subscribe. That's been Joe Smith. I'm Jay Moyer. This has been Paddock Live. Thanks for watching.